It's always a scary thought when you hear that your favorite anime is changing studios after only the first season. But in Vinland Saga's case, this was the best scenario possible. The director of the first season of Vinland Saga announced on Twitter that the decision to change studios from Studio Wit to Mappa was a personal matter and that most of the staff is remaining the same. They also had already started working on Season 2 then. This is reflected in the art style of Season 2. It is very similar to that of Season 1. Also, the soundtrack to the anime is amazing, just as before. However, some changes don't work out so well. They may actually end all the momentum an anime once had. Onepunchman was predicted to catapult to extreme popularity levels with its second season. It did, but for all the bad reasons. Season 1 was animated by Madhouse, who don't need any introduction. Season 2 was taken over by JC staff. In comparison to the first season, the animation was not as groundbreaking, but rather serviceable, to others downright bad. The reason for the change in studios was because the animation director Natsume was busy at the time and his staff left the project because they didn't want to work without him, so JC staff had to work from the ground up. Enjoying the video so far? Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. Psychopass is another anime that changed studios from Season 1 being animated by productionig to Tatsunoko Productions in Season 2. The animation remained relatively the same, but the story was not as strong as the first season. This is because the writers were also changed. The reason why studios were changed is because the staff of productionig were exhausted in making the first season that they even had to remake some episodes they had given different studios to assist them with. productionig returned to animate future seasons and the movies, so Psychopass was back on track, but to some it was a bit too late. Now let's move on to a positive change. My teen romantic comedy Snafu or Oregairu changed from Studio Brain's base to Studio Feel. This change was met with a positive reception because the animation was much more beautiful and the expressions of the characters were much better. When it comes to the story, either studio could have adapted the material well because the season was dealing with a lot of character development, but regardless, the change of studios made Oregairu a staple in the romantic comedy genre. The first season of The Devilisaparttimer came out in 2013, animated by White Fox. It was not until 2021, 8 years later, that the second season was announced. So, anything is possible? It then premiered in 2022, being animated by Studio 3 Hertz. There was a complete change in the staff, and this was evident in how the animation looked different. Also, with how the comedy was being handled, which was the selling point for the first season. In this season, that aspect didn't land as well as it did back then. Also, the plot of the second season was not what many were expecting, so that also contributed to the slightly negative reception the anime had. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe and comment for more content coming your way.